If you guys are trying to take your training to the next level and you want to increase your speed, your power, your conditioning, then you got to check out Phil Daru's 8-week heavy hitter boxing program. I'm telling you guys right now, it's no joke.
Hi, my name is Veronica and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. How did that one do?
That was very good. Let's do just maybe one or two more, okay?
Best fighter of his era right now. Because he's like undefeated and very good.
Will there be any excuses after May 2nd for either fighter, for Mayweather or for your fighter?
There shouldn't be. I mean, the best man will win, and we'll go from there.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So the man that has been ranked as the greatest fighter of all time by BoxRec and the greatest fighter of all time in the last 25 years by ESPN, Floyd Mayweather, has come out and shut down any rumors of him possibly returning to the ring to give Manny Pacquiao a rematch. Now, before I get deeper into this and quote what Floyd Mayweather said, I want to let you guys know I'm definitely going to be making a video about Floyd Mayweather being crowned as the greatest fighter of all time. Now, I also want to do a separate video on the names they have on that list below Floyd Mayweather's name, because that's a whole nother subject that deserves its own video. Getting back to Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, he made it very clear once again, he will not be giving Manny Pacquiao a rematch. He said all Manny Pacquiao is going to do is make more excuses. And he said the video that surfaced of him going to Saudi Arabia talking about fighting Manny Pacquiao, he said that was a video that was done over a year ago, and it wasn't to promote a Pacquiao fight, it was just to promote that he was going to be doing something out there in Saudi Arabia, but the people out there, they wanted him to mention Manny Pacquiao's name. Now guys, regardless of how true that is, it doesn't matter. This is the bottom line. We know that Manny Pacquiao made excuses. I just played a clip for you guys where I interviewed Freddie Roach. I asked him that question before the fight. Will there be any excuses? Freddie Roach said there shouldn't be any excuses. And all we got was excuses from Manny Pacquiao. Understand this. The excuses mainly came from Manny Pacquiao. After the fight, Freddie Roach was co-signing a little bit, but it was Manny Pacquiao that was doing the majority of the talking after the fight when it came to making excuses, right? He said he injured his shoulder before the fight. And then Manny Pacquiao changed that story. This is how we know he was being disingenuous, because he went from saying he was injured before the fight to then saying he was injured during the fight, around the third or the fourth round. Now that's pretty interesting, because as biased as HBO was with Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman, I remember Max Kellerman tried to go out of his way to defend Manny Pacquiao. When Manny Pacquiao first said he was injured before the fight, afterwards, Max Kellerman, he comes out and he says, we should be praising, we should really commend Manny Pacquiao for going into this fight, not throwing the pay-per-view away, all the money they invested into this fight. Manny Pacquiao, he cared about everyone. He didn't want to let anyone down, so he said, I'm still going to go through with this fight, even with an injury. So we should commend him for doing so. This is what Max Kellerman said, right? But then, right after Max Kellerman says this, then Manny Pacquiao changes his story and says, hey guys, actually, I wasn't injured before the fight. I was injured during the fight. So not only did Manny Pacquiao make himself look bad, but he made Max Kellerman look stupid, because Max was trying to go out on a limb to defend this man, but he was defending a lie. And once Manny Pacquiao admitted he lied, never did Max Kellerman come back out and retract what he said before. And then a week after the fight, Manny Pacquiao was caught swimming and scuba diving, and he said, oh, that's because my shoulder is healed now. The salt water from the ocean actually healed my shoulder. I want you guys to understand something. Faking an injury when you lose to someone, that's the oldest trick in the book. Because you have to understand, these fighters are full of pride. So it's not that much of a surprise when it comes to faking injuries. I mean, we can go all the way back to Sonny Liston when he quit against Muhammad Ali. Sonny Liston said, tell him my shoulder went out. When Roberto Duran quit against Sugar Ray Leonard. He said, just tell the media something was wrong with my stomach. So you see, guys, it's almost standard for fighters to make excuses why they lost. Now, this is where the hypocrisy of the fans come in. So once again, you have Floyd Mayweather, who dominated Manny Pacquiao in the first fight. But then you have the fans, because they can't deal with the loss, they have to make up something to make themselves feel better that always comes back and bites them in the ass. Because I always tell you guys, whenever you say something out of anger, you're saying something out of emotion, all you're going to do eventually is contradict yourself. If you guys recall, you had a lot of fans, of course, Floyd Mayweather detractors that were saying the fight was boring, it was so boring, etc., etc., etc. Now, a lot of those same fans are saying, why won't Floyd Mayweather get in the ring with Manny Pacquiao now? He's scared to take the rematch, etc., etc., etc. Guys, you can't have it both ways. Either you believe Floyd Mayweather is a boring fighter, because see, understand this, they weren't blaming the fight being boring on Manny Pacquiao. They were blaming it solely on Floyd Mayweather. So why would you want to see the fight again if you believe the fight was that boring? But what these decaps don't understand is, it doesn't really matter if you like the performance or not. The only thing that matters is the results, right? If you're watching the World Cup, if you're watching a soccer match, and it takes them 2 hours to score one goal, as long as your team scores, that's all you care about. You're not going to be like, yeah, well, my team did win, but that was a boring ass game. You ain't going to say that. You're going to be happy that your team won. But if your team loses, of course it's going to be something that you didn't want to watch, right? I mean, for example, if you pay pay-per-view and your team lost, if it was up to you, you would get your money back, right? Because you didn't want to pay to see your team lose. You didn't want to pay to see your guy lose. So of course, watching your guy lose is going to be boring. When has it ever been fun to watch your team or your guy actually lose? Especially lose to the guy you hate the most. Manny Pacquiao is a hell of a character. He really is. Because before the fight, Manny Pacquiao, he tried to play this as good versus evil, like the media started to do as well. Before the fight, Manny Pacquiao said that God is going to give him this win to prove to the world that God exists. This is what Manny Pacquiao said before the fight. You guys know what Manny Pacquiao said after he lost to Floyd Mayweather? This can all be researched. Manny Pacquiao, he said, I knew I was going to lose to Floyd Mayweather 2 months before the fight because I had a dream I had lost to him. He said it was in God's will for him to lose to Floyd Mayweather. So according to Manny Pacquiao's logic, God gave Floyd Mayweather the win to prove that there is a God. Or is Manny Pacquiao trying to say there is no God anymore because he lost? Whatever it is he tried to say, he completely contradicted himself. So I don't believe there's any reason for Floyd Mayweather to take a rematch with Manny Pacquiao. For what? He's already been crowned as the greatest fighter of all time, and this is by organizations that don't even like Floyd Mayweather that much. This tells you how great of a fighter Floyd Mayweather is. Because it would be one thing if they gave it to a fighter that they loved, right? But organizations like ESPN and BoxRec, especially ESPN, they don't like Floyd Mayweather, but they still have him down as the greatest fighter in the last 25 years. Because they know they had to do what was right and tell the truth in that situation, regardless of how they personally felt about Floyd. But once again, what's the point of giving Manny Pacquiao a rematch? On top of that, you have a lot of racist fans and old media members like Max Kellerman, who's starting to sound a lot more like Skip Bayless nowadays, where he's not even talking boxing anymore. He's just talking who he likes and who he doesn't like. And a perfect example of that is him trying to convince the boxing world with his ESPN platform that despite Manny Pacquiao losing, he's actually still greater than the guy he actually lost to. Max Kellerman had just recently said that Manny Pacquiao is considered the greatest fighter of all time, so I know it really hurt his feelings when he found out that BoxRec actually said, no, you're wrong, Max Kellerman. regardless of what we think about Floyd Mayweather, he's the greatest fighter of all time. I know that had to really, really hurt Max Kellerman because he was hoping he had that type of pull that the Grand Wizard of the decafs, Jim Lampley, had. He was hoping that he could go over to ESPN and become the new Jim Lampley, and it's not working that well for him because even his own network, ESPN, didn't even agree with his assessment when he said that Manny Pacquiao is the greatest fighter of all time. They even have Floyd Mayweather as greater than Manny Pacquiao. So once again, the whole Jim Lampley thing is not working. That old media stuff is played out because Max is talking so crazy he can't even get his own team to agree with what he's saying. This is why you can't take anything Max Kellerman says serious. I remember right after Floyd Mayweather beat Manny Pacquiao, Max Kellerman was doing interviews telling people that Manny Pacquiao is still greater than Floyd Mayweather. You see how that hope list works? Only when you're on the hope list can you get knocked out 3 or 4 times in your career and lose the most important fight of your career, and you have someone like Max Kellerman still trying to convince the world, oh no, the guy that actually lost is actually greater than the guy that actually beat. Can you guys imagine if Floyd Mayweather had been knocked out 3 times in his career, and then everyone demands him to fight Manny Pacquiao, and then he finally fights Pacquiao and he loses to Manny Pacquiao? On top of that, let's go ahead and continue to reverse the roles. Let's say it was Floyd Mayweather who struggled against Marquez, fighting him 4 times, and then the 4th time he fights Marquez, he gets knocked out cold. While Manny Pacquiao, on the other hand, he fights Juan Manuel Marquez 1 time and completely dominates him. He shuts him out. How many of you guys think Max Kellerman will be on ESPN trying to convince people Floyd Mayweather is still greater than Manny Pacquiao? I don't care what anyone says. How many people think anyone in the boxing world would be saying that Floyd Mayweather is greater than Manny Pacquiao in that scenario that I just drew out for you guys? We know what time it is. At the end of the day, people like Max Kellerman, even if Floyd Mayweather were to come out of retirement and beat Manny Pacquiao again, Max Kellerman, he would still say the same thing. So once again, what's the point? What's the point of Floyd Mayweather coming out of retirement, beating Manny Pacquiao again, when he's already considered TBE by BoxRec and many other organizations? I tell you guys all the time, Manny Pacquiao, everything that he's doing right now, he's trying to make up for him losing the most important fight of his career. Him losing to Floyd Mayweather, that's no different than Muhammad Ali losing to Joe Frazier. Imagine if Muhammad Ali, he lost to Joe Frazier and they only fought once and he never got a rematch. Do you think he would be considered as great as he is considered today? Imagine if Sugar Ray Leonard would have lost to Hearns. Imagine if Jack Johnson would have lost to Jim Jeffries. Imagine if Joe Louis would have lost the rematch to Max Schmeling. None of these fighters would be considered as great as they are today. Almost every great fighter had an arch nemesis that they needed to beat. And Manny Pacquiao, he lost to his. Manny Pacquiao is still a great fighter. But from this point on, because he lost that fight to Floyd Mayweather, any success that Manny Pacquiao has today, it makes him look greater, but it makes Floyd Mayweather look even greater. Because once again, this is where those emotional excuses always comes back to bite these fans in the ass. When Floyd Mayweather beat Manny Pacquiao, all these fans said, oh, Manny Pacquiao was old, right? But yet, how is it possible that Floyd Mayweather was able to beat this Manny Pacquiao 4 years ago, while Keith Thurman loses to a Manny Pacquiao 4 years older than he was when he lost to Floyd Mayweather? That tells you how great of a fighter Floyd Mayweather is. And you notice, when it comes to Manny Pacquiao, he's always old when he's losing to Floyd Mayweather. But when he's beating Tim Bradley in a rubber match, or when he's beating Keith Thurman, all of a sudden, this is the vintage Manny Pacquiao. He's turned back the hands of time. You see how it works? Once again, man, that hope insurance is no joke. With that being said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. And like I said, I'm definitely going to extend this conversation, talk more about this, talk more about Floyd Mayweather being ranked as the greatest fighter of all time, and everyone else that's on that list. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
External rotation of the shoulder, and back in.